Hi friends, welcome back to my booktube. My name is Dina Clarice. I am a writer, editor, and poet who loves to read and talk about books. Today is really exciting because I want to do a book haul, but not just any book haul. I am doing a book haul from the Philippines. So these are actually books that I ordered from Shopee. It's kind of like an online mall in the Philippines. It's kind of like Amazon, but it's a lot more independent sellers. I actually asked my pamangkin Kate to order them for me, and my mom and dad and aunt were visiting the Philippines to host a pabasa, which is a yearly Catholic ritual where a neighborhood gathers and sings for like 3 days straight about the life of Jesus. Read an epic poem written, I think, in the 16th century. My parents and my aunt go almost every year. I asked my mom to bring me back books. So thank you, Mom, and thank you, Kate. Also, thank you to my ninang Irene for paying one of the Shopee couriers when they came when my mom was out. But yes, today I'm going to show you what all I ordered. I think most, if not all, are actually published by local presses based in the Philippines. If you've ever talked to me for more than 5 minutes, you'll know that I'm a very proud Filipina. As part of my journey as a writer and connecting to my cultural background and heritage, I love to explore Philippine literature. The first books that I wanted to show are two by Joaquin. And actually, one of them is a novel that's pretty well known in the West. And there is a Penguin Classics edition that I've been coveting and I've been trying to look for in secondhand shops for about 3 years now. I haven't been able to find it. Found this one, which was by a local publisher, Bookmark, but this is The Woman Who Had Two Navels. It's about an upper class woman who hallucinates that she has two navels. And Joaquin is very well known for his discussion on class in the Philippines and how a Spanish colonial legacy has left their remnants in the way that Philippine class is ordered and structured. I'm really excited to read this. I'm excited to read all of these. But this one specifically, I wanted to show this first because I have been looking for this book for 3 years, and I'm glad I found a local publisher. The next book is Culture and History by Nick. We're on first name basis now. The back says, "Who is the Filipino? What makes him so?" National Artist for Literature Nick Joaquin answers these questions in Culture and History, a groundbreaking treatise on Philippine history and Filipino identity, and how the tools of our native and adopted cultures have shaped both. With profound, thought-provoking, timeless essays that take Filipino readers back in time to rediscover their roots, as well as challenge preconceived notions on the meaning of culture and history and the intricate makings of the Filipino psyche, Culture and History exhibits Nick Joaquin's vivid, nostalgic, ingenious prose and keen insight that only a brilliant writer and perspective historian can deliver. I think a lot of people, Filipinos and non-Filipinos, have these different preconceived notions of Philippine culture and history. A lot of history, especially in the West, kind of just glances over our country, even though we were colonized by America and it was a huge part of World War II and beyond. But that's neither here nor there. So I think personally, I love to get a better understanding of where I come from and the national and cultural identities that have come out, people's history and struggles. So I am looking forward to these essays, not just because I know that Nick Joaquin is a very critical and sharp historian, but also because his use of language in poetry and fiction really informed the way he tells stories. So I think it's going to be also really accessible for a reader like me who's never taken a history class in the Philippines and only has been educated through personal research instead of, studying at an institution. The next book is called The Farthest Shore, and it's an anthology of fantasy fiction from the Philippines. So this, as well as a few other, are from the University of the Philippines Press, which I believe is from Diliman. I'm gonna link them below if that's correct. But this is an anthology. At the back, they reference Lord of the Rings, Dune, A Game of Thrones, and Ursula Le Guin's trilogy of the Earthsea Archipelago. It's just so exciting because the Philippines is an archipelago. It's a historic, cultural, and economic hub for centuries. So even before Spanish colonization, we traded and interacted with different cultures in Southeast Asia. That mishmash of different cultures, as well as our indigenous influence, created such a rich cultural narrative. I think that we are wonderful storytellers, so I'm really excited to read fantasy. It's not super thick. I'll probably read this first, just because I've literally been like eyeing it and poking at it, but I didn't want to start it because I'm in the middle of so many books right now. I forgot to mention The Farthest Shore is collected and edited by Dean Francis Alfar and Joseph Frederic F. Nacino. The next book is Tangere, and this is a collection of poetry by Rodrigo V. de la Peña Jr. And this is really cool because it is in correspondence with Jose Rizal's Noli Tangere, and that is the Philippine classic. If you ever want to start reading Filipino literature, I would start there. It was a cultural phenomenon written at the very dawn of the colonial revolution against the Spanish. I think I read the English translation way back in high school, and I did not really understand it. I knew what was happening in the plot, but I don't think I was mature enough or that I had enough context to appreciate the implications in how it was going to turn history. I do plan on rereading. It was originally written in Spanish, I believe, but I have the Tagalog translation, and I'm hoping to read that probably in conjunction with this because each poem corresponds to a chapter in the book. So I think it'd be really cool to read them. And also my Tagalog edition of Noli Me Tangere is a textbook because if you went to school in the Philippines, you probably had to read it. So mine has like questions at the end, and I think that would be a really neat way to not just reread the book, but also study Tagalog. I speak and understand Tagalog pretty well. I'd say like I'm at an elementary level. I can read it okay, but to the extent of like Facebook Messenger with my cousins and my pamangkin. So I would like to get better at reading real Tagalog text. And I think this would be a great way to get a better and a deeper understanding of Noli Me Tangere. I'm also super, super fascinated by this because I think with the conversation that it has with the book, not only does it act as a piece of art on its own, like a collection of poetry, I think it also is going to be a literary criticism of the original novel. And I think that is just so neat. I'm kind of a nerd and I do like to read literary analysis essays. My Norton is like my best friend. Oh my god, that's so sad. The next book, I do not want to butcher the title, but I believe it's Ang Kalye nga wala sing Kamatayon. And does that mean the street without death? I don't think this is in Tagalog, but the author, Leoncio P. Deriada, writes in English, Hiligaynon, and Cebuano. Didn't know the Philippines has multiple languages, and there is a rich culture in each language. Sadly, only speak Tagalog, but my grandpa was Ilocano, and I hope to somehow learn Ilocano at least a little bit in this lifetime. So if you have any recommendations, there are some online classes out there. I wish that Duolingo had Ilocano. It doesn't even have Tagalog though, so I don't really have a lot of faith in that. But if you have any recommendations on Ilocano artists or writers, or just resources on where to learn it online, that would be really great. These short stories though are in English, and he translated them himself. I found the translation in the back. It's "He is the proverbial road that will never die." So I was close. I said street that doesn't die. I'm also very fascinated in how the Philippines is a pretty small country separated across thousands of islands. So I think that separation has created a very rich melting pot of different cultures. And the fact that Deriada has written in so many languages coming just from one region, I think is just so cool. And the fact that he translated it to English so I could read it. Thank you. I usually dip in and out of short story collections, except for ones that have an overarching theme. Like, for example, with Jhumpa Lahiri's collections, I read them straight through. Each collection has a central theme, if not a few central themes, so I like reading the stories all together. Next book is called Stories of Struggle, and this is a nonfiction from the University of the Philippine Press, and this is about experiences of land reform in Negros Island, Philippines. It's by Sarah Wright and Diosa Lebiste. And this is an account of the lived experience of land tillers, their families. And I actually did not know much about this, but when I was browsing through P Press's Shopee, I found this. Follow the indigenous activists in the land back movement, actually in the North and South. One of the things that you should know is that our current president in the Philippines and his vice president are part of a larger legacy of fascism. Part of the ways that they have harmed the Filipino people is encroaching upon the rightful land of indigenous communities and farming communities. This book is a priority for me to read because that's something that I want to educate myself on. One of the most important things that we can do in the diaspora especially is to listen to the people that are being directly affected. And what I hope from this book is that it tells the primary accounts of the indigenous folks and the farmers and the activists who are in the midst of this struggle. If you would like to learn more about the land back movement in the Philippines, also more about the government that we have found ourselves in, again, I'm going to link some resources down below. I'm also going to link the land back activists that I follow. Want to support, please donate to mutual funds. Do not donate to the government. Please donate to mutual funds. That's all I have to say. The last book means so much to me. It's the selected poems of Merlie Alunan. And Merlie Alunan is a very well-known poet in the Philippines. I believe she also writes short stories. She's a professor of literature and creative writing. Her poetry was very inspirational. And one of my poems is actually written after her Tale of the Spider Woman. I wrote Tale of the Spider Girl. I never had a collection by her. It's actually a little hard to find her full poems online, so I'm glad I have this. It is thin, so I have to savor them. Probably read this over the next few months. I don't want to waste it. There's a term for that. Is it mac and cheese or something? Where you save a book because you want it to be a treat and then you end up not reading it. Mashed potatoes. But yes, Merlie Alunan is a poet very close to my heart, and I'm just very grateful that I actually have one of her collections in my possession. Which brings me to the surprise portion of the video. My lovely pamangkin Kate actually ordered an extra copy. I told Kate that she can have it if she wants to read it, and I don't think she wanted to read it. So I'm doing a giveaway. Check my Instagram post if you want to join. Unfortunately, it is US only because it's crazy expensive to send books to other countries. Sorry, it's US only. It is English, so you don't have to speak Tagalog. I think this would also be a great intro into Philippine literature. So if you want to win a copy of Merlie Alunan, I don't know, maybe we could do a buddy read? Join my giveaway. And that was all. I also have a surprise. My mom also got me so many other things. Oh, I did ask her to buy me some baskets, some hand-woven bags, and she brought me those, which are very beautiful. Thank you, Mommy. And I asked her to bring me one of these. If you know what the barrel man is, write down in the comments. If you know, you know. Barrel man and I thank you for watching my book haul. If you've read Philippine/Filipinx literature, let me know in the comments. Any recommendations for me? I'm always trying to expand my readership, especially in getting to know my roots. That's it for my video today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!